Okay, Yenny, the next one is another one of Travis's all-time favorites is Skor Cookies. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm just gonna show you how I make his favorite cookies. So when I come visit you in Guatemala, there's always two things he wants me to bring: salsa and Skor Cookies. So I always do my best. They don't always arrive in perfect condition, but I try. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the cookbook I need. Yes, it's this guy again. My favorites are all in this one, and it's a very well-loved. It's a peanut butter chocolate chip cookie, and there was a certain day, probably about 20 years ago, where I decided, oh, I should cut up this chocolate bar and I should put this on the cookie. That would be really good. I think the boys would like that. And so I cut up the Skor chocolate bar. I put it on top of the cookie. I baked it in, and Skor Cookies were born. And from that day forward, that's the way they wanted the cookies. So that's the way I made the cookies. So they're kind of famous around here, and I hope that I'll be able to show you how to do it, and you'll be able to make them someday for Travis. Okay, talk to you soon. Okay, so here we go. We have a cup of butter, and I sort of have it a little bit softened. It's just been sitting on the counter all day, so that's kind of ready to go. And I'm gonna put it into, this is my KitchenAid mixer, which I make all my cookies in here. It makes it super duper easy. I don't know if you have this exactly, but you might have something similar to mix them, or you'll have to just mix it by hand until we can get you one of these guys that I love. Okay, so I put that in, and then, like I said, I have all my flours and my sugars just right here in this drawer, so that makes it super handy for me. But I measured out 1.5 cups of brown sugar and 1/2 cup of white sugar. Okay, and so then we take this guy and we just go up like this and we turn it on. I'm just gonna let that mix for a bit. Okay, so up next is 2 eggs. So we'll just go like this. No separating this time, just throw them in. Okay, and I'll mix that. Mix those two in, and I've made these so many times, Yenny, hundreds of times, so I really don't measure. I have an idea. I just know. I just know. But I have the recipe if you want to follow for exactly how much. But like I say, I just know how to do it. And then I'm going to take my peanut butter, and with that too, I need about 2 big spoonfuls. And that's how I do it. Just go 1, 2. And that saves me from getting another container dirty because I've done it so many times. So I'm going to mix that together. Okay, so the next part is putting in the baking soda, and it's about 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and I have forgotten the baking soda once or twice, and it does not go well. They do not rise properly, and you know pretty quick that you made a big mistake. So I'm always very careful to make sure that gets added and mixed in. And then I'm going to add the flour. So it calls for about 4 cups of flour. So I'm just going to add that. And I'm just going to add it. I lower this, and I don't put it all in at once. I put in about 1 cup, and then I mix it. And it kind of goes all over a little bit, but that's okay. A little flour on the counter doesn't hurt. And then I just lower it, and I'll show you what this looks like in here. Hang on. Okay, and I'll just show you, it looks like this, and then we just lift it up, and this is what it looks like. It's going. Okay, so I'm going to add the rest of the flour, and then we'll go to the next part. Okay, so I think I have the flour the way I want it, and now it's time to add the chocolate chips. So we add about a cup of chocolate chips, and I'll dump those in. We'll stir that in. Okay, I'm going to show this to you. So I kind of have a feel, I know what it feels like when it's right. If I don't think it's right, then I add some more flour, but I'm pretty sure it's right. So then I take it down, and I'm just gonna put this in the fridge for a little bit, and then I'll show you what I do while that's just cooling in the fridge for a bit. Okay, the next part, while the batter part is in the fridge, I usually cool that for about half an hour just to stiffen it up, and then it's ready to roll. I turn my oven on, so I get my oven to 350. I start that, and then I get my Skor cookies ready, so the Skor part. So I cut these open and go like that. I just get them all cut. Oh, and then I start chopping them into small pieces. So I'll show you what that looks like. Oh, these ones are a little broken, but that's no problem because we're going to be chopping them. And so I just take my cutting board and my knife, and I just start making them into pieces like this. Okay, and I don't do it perfectly. I just do it so that I can sprinkle these on top of the cookies. Okay, so I'm going to do all that and get that ready, and then I'll show you the next part. Okay, this is the part I really like. I took this out of the fridge. It's nice and stiff and perfect. I've got my Skor pieces cut. I'm just gonna wash my hands. Because I use a tablespoon. And like I said, I've made it so many times that I know what it feels like. And I've got this pan. This is my favorite pan. I got this from Ian for Christmas one year. When he worked at Canadian Tire, he always bought me the coolest things that I love. And this is a really big pan, so I can do most of the cookies on there. And I only have one, but I also have these other ones that I love from Costco. And I just I just roll into about a tablespoon to make a ball. And I just bake them one by one. So I'll show you like that. And then I take a fork and I just press them down like this. And then I take a little bit of the Skor cookie and I just put it on, and then we bake it just like that. And I'll show you a picture. I'll show you when I'm done them all, but I usually do, I do all the rolling, and then I do all the flattening with the fork, and then I do all the Skor pieces on. So I'm going to do that process, and then I will show you what that looks like before we put them in the oven. Okay, we are ready to bake them. I'm so excited. I love this part because I have this great convection oven. I can do 3 pans at one time. So this really saves a lot of time for me, and I love it. So I'm just going to put them in. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then I'm going to set my timer. And I'm going to set it for 10 minutes, but I'm going to watch it carefully because this is one of those where, again, from years of practice, but you'll get it. I just have to look and see when the timer goes. I just have to look and check and decide if it needs a couple more minutes, and I kind of know how to see it. and that's something that you just learn over time with lots and lots of practice. But the good thing about cookies is they taste good no matter what. Even if they're a little overdone or underdone or they didn't rise, it doesn't matter. You can still eat them and then try again. So I'm excited to see how these turn out. Okay, talk to you soon. Okay, here we go. So I did them for 10 minutes, but they just needed like another minute, I could tell. So I'm just finishing that up. Let's take a look at them. I'm pretty sure they're pretty much perfect now. Yeah, this looks pretty much perfect. Oh my goodness, they look so good. And this one, yeah, I'm just gonna give that one another minute. This pan cooks a little bit faster, and then I like to put them right away to cool on this rack. And this rack is another thing that Ian got me for Christmas. So thank you, Ian, for all the great gifts that I use over and over and over. And I just let them, this way they can cool and have air underneath them. And so that's what we do, like that. And they turned out perfect, and I'm very excited. So I'm gonna just grab those other ones, make sure they don't get burnt. And I wish you were here to have coffee and a cookie. I really do. And that day is coming. It can't come soon enough. But until then, enjoy this video, and maybe you can practice making cookies and show me how you make out. Okay, thanks, Yenny. See you soon.